If you've never read this book before, you've never heard of Robert Kiyosaki, I highly recommend that you get it. Robert Kiyosaki is the author. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is what most people know him from. It's his book that he wrote. He's very famous for it. And Cashflow Quadrant is another book, and it talks about the 4 quadrants of money in the world. And I'm going to walk you through how I have personally been able to walk this journey to the other side of the quadrant. Okay, so here you have the world population is what most people know, and that's how to be an employee. 90% of people in the world work a job. Okay, they trade their time for money. Maybe you've heard of that before, trading your time for money. You work a job. You're an employee. That means you get paid an hourly wage to show up and do whatever somebody else tells you to do. Okay, most people that work a job, 90% of people that work a job are broke. J-O-B stands for just over broke, because a job does not pay you what you're worth. I want you to think about it. Do you get paid what you're worth at work? Okay? And think about this. Can you work a job for 3 to 5 years and retire? No, you can't. Most people can't even work a job for 40 years and retire. But you know what? It's all we know. So that's what I'm on a mission to here today, you guys, is I want to help you learn something that you may not know. Right beneath our eyes is a way for us to have a different quality of lifestyle, a bigger, better life. If we'll just open our mind for a minute, be coachable to learn something new, and hopefully I can connect with you here today to teach you a different way of making money in the world. Okay, so E, the quadrant of E stands for employee. Okay, then the S stands for self-employed. Okay, this is when I was a hairdresser. I had a job at a hair salon, and it didn't last very long because I didn't like it, and I didn't like working for someone else, so I said, I'm going to go own my own business. I'm going to go rent a chair, and I'm going to go be my own boss. And so that's what I did. I became self-employed. And I basically just owned my job. You own a job here. I worked myself to death, but I made a lot of money, okay? I could make $1,000 a day. I didn't take lunch, and I ate right through everything, and I didn't take a break or anything, because if I stopped the motions of cutting and coloring and blow drying and highlighting and everything, I would lose money. I needed to keep the rhythm going from the minute I stood behind that chair all day long, circling customers in and out, next, 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 and it was crazy. But a lot of people do it. Pool men do it, electricians do it, babysitters do it. I don't know. There's all kinds of jobs that people own their own business. Think about it. If you're a business owner and you are the one that has to create the revenue to your business, you just own a job. That's what I owned. I owned a job. I used to say, oh, I'm a business owner. I own a salon. Oh, I was all proud of that. Yeah, back in the day, okay? And then, so here's what happened, is no work, no pay, if we're in these two equations. No work, no pay. If I didn't go to work, I didn't make any money. If you don't go to work, you don't make any money. No work, no pay, okay? Now, on this side of the quadrant, okay, B stands for business owner, big business owner. This is small business owner. This is big business owner. Now, I also got to experience that side. Let me tell you what I learned there. I learned if I stayed here, I was going to kill myself. I had stood in one place for so many years, I had to have discs replaced in my back, so I can barely raise my arms anymore. I'm practically handicapped to my trade previously. And I was like, how can I do this? I'm going to kill myself. How do I get out from behind this chair? How do I continue to do what I love to do without killing myself? And I said to myself, I've got to duplicate myself. I have to duplicate myself. You know, and I jokingly say cloning was really big back then. I waited a few years and it never became legal, so I had to figure something else out. But I did. I duplicated myself. I started training hairdressers. Okay, I started training hairdressers, and here's what I did. I built it up to have 49 of these guys working for me. I learned leverage. You own a system which helps you leverage your growth, and I did. I grew that baby to 5 hair salons and 49 hairdressers over 19 years. It's what I did, and I made millions. And at one point in time, I was debt-free. So I thought I was debt-free because I really didn't know what debt-free meant. Let me break that down for you. Most people think debt-free is not owning or not having to pay any debt to things, okay? But truly debt-free is also not being owned by a city or a town or a state, a customer, an employee, a boss, brick and mortar, or bills, okay? This vehicle that I'm talking to you about, what I've got my hands on, provides you true, free debt freedom, okay? I'm going to walk you through that. Okay, so here, I made a lot of money at it. But the only way I could keep making money is I had to open another salon in the next town, and another salon in the next town, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of more dollars, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of more dollars, more debt, yes, more revenue. Yes, I could make millions, but it cost me millions to make millions, so I was basically almost just money laundering. Just kidding, but you know what I mean. And so here's what happened here. I started realizing that I'm going to die doing that. I'm going to die doing it. I have to show up every day. I have to keep turning on the lights. And what happened is I started realizing that my customers and my employees owned me. Yep, they sure did. Because what does every good hairdresser want to do? They want to be their own salon owner one day. They think they can do it bigger and better than you, and they think they can go, do all this, which is great. That's how life evolves. But what they do is they take all your hard work, all your energy, all your knowledge that you've given to them, plus they back up your database, and they go down the street and they open up shop down the street, and now they become your competition. So basically you poured your heart into them, you taught them everything they know, and then they go and become your competition. That's how business works. And it happens over and over and over again every day. I didn't even realize it, but I did it to my boss. That boss that I had back there when I was an employee, it was his multi-thousands of dollars of yellow page ads and his TV commercials and his radio commercials that he paid for that brought the customers in the door that I serviced and took with me when I went and opened up my salon. Yep, I did it. Okay, but there's a flaw in this system. There's a flaw in it. Sounds all great and wonderful, but let me give you a little vision here, okay? I was going to build this big legacy for my daughter, okay, so that she could have these great salons to inherit. That was going to be my legacy, an inheritance of these salons. But you know what? Most businesses out there right now are so upside down. For me, I couldn't find anyone to buy it. No one was crazy enough to buy all these million-dollar salons, okay, because there wasn't millions of dollars of revenue coming in the door to oversee the debt that was tied to the top of it, so I couldn't sell it. And I thank God all the time that I didn't die during the time of my transition into this other quadrant of life. Because if I would have died, my daughter would have inherited millions of dollars of debt with those salons. Millions of dollars of debt. My so-called legacy back in the day when I was debt-free was no longer debt-free when the recession came, right? Because it's not recession-proof. Okay, so watch this. Here I learned leverage. Here you get leveraged upon. Your boss leverages upon you just like I did here to my 49 employees. I made a lot of money off them. Here you leverage yourself because you're the boss, you're the employee, you get control over yourself, okay? Here you learn how to leverage off of others. Here you learn residual income. I had never heard of that word, you guys. I had never heard of any of this before I got into this business. I had never heard of residual income. I did not know that those guys that own the kiosk in the mall were getting paid off my cell phone bill every single month that I paid my bill. I had no clue. I did not know that Dish Network, you could buy a Dish Network franchise and you could get residual income off of people's cable bills. I did not know that when you sold a life insurance policy to somebody that you would make residual income off them. I did not know any of those things. Another form of investor and residual income is somebody who maybe owns an apartment complex with 100 tenants. That's residual income. They collect the rent every month. Another one that we're all very familiar with is Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley. Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley make more money dead than they do alive because of the residual income that comes off of every record and every song and every book and every keychain and every movie and anything that they created in their life, okay? They get residual income for it. That is generational wealth. For generations to come, those songs will be played time after time after time, and they will continue to be paid. That is generational wealth. And that is what I have my hands on here. And I want you to understand what you have your hands on, because I didn't see it before I got started. When I got started in this thing, I did not understand what I was getting involved with, okay? I got started simply because I'm an opportunist. I'm an opportunist. These people over here are opportunists. Opportunists are people who try everything. They're trying things all the time because they know that that's one thing is going to work, okay? These people who stay at a job their entire life are not opportunists. They got to think about it. They don't take action. They don't take risks. They're very cautious. They just don't. So they stay there forever because every opportunity passes their plate, right? So be an opportunist. Be an opportunist. And if you're the type of person that's always trying things, good for you. You're an opportunist, okay? But let me tell you what you really got your hands on here. Okay, so now, fast forward. When I got started, March 26th of 2008, I did not know what I had my hands on. Fast forward now to wherever we're starting 2012 now, okay? We have over 16,000 people on our team. 16,000 people. And we get paid on tens of thousands of bills that get paid every month. The 16,000 people is leverage. The tens of thousands of bills is the residual income. Combine it together, you have residual leverage, which is how you create generational wealth. You guys, I did not know this stuff before I got started. I want you to understand it now so that you can see a different way to make money. Here is a business that works even if you're not there. This is called while you sleep money, okay? While you sleep. You want to be able to make money while you sleep. The only way you can make money while you sleep is if you have residual income in it. My salons, most big businesses in the world don't have residual income. They have to rely on customers and employees to generate their revenue. That is why so many businesses are going out of business, because they don't have residual income. If I would have had it in mind, I would have still been open, right? Or I would still be the owner of it. So let me give you a little more vision here. World wealth, right here. They make up 10%, they share 10% of money in the world, okay? 10% of money in the world is shared by 90% of the people. 90% of the money in the world is shared by 10% of the people. Let me recap on that. These people on this side of the quadrant make 90% of the money in the world, okay? These people make 10% of it, but yet they make up 90% of the people in the world. If you don't understand that, let me break it down a little bit more. Here, to make $100,000 a year, you're considered it's a sweet job, right? That is an awesome job. You're in the top 5% of people in the world to make $100,000 a year. You guys, I don't know how people live on $100,000 a year. And now that I know how to make money differently, here's what I can tell you. That these people make this money in a day, in a week, in a month, in a couple months. It's out there, you guys. These people make it up because of the leverage and the residual income. Okay? I want you guys to understand that there is a different way of making money. So you don't have to think being a plastic surgeon is great, or having a high-profile corporate America job is great, or being a lawyer, or being a high-end realtor, or a contractor when times are good. All those things are great, but think about it. If you don't show up to work, how much money do you make? This is about teaching our new generation how to make money differently so that they can change our generations, okay? We've got to get people thinking differently. We've got to get people to understand that there is a whole other way to make money in the world.